right, we're gonna move right along to our next one. We are reviewing Kate. To give a quick spoiler-free review of Kate, this is on Netflix. A hired hand has a hit. She possibly accomplishes hit, and then realizes that she's been poisoned. Now she's on a revenge tour to get the people who poisoned her and show them who's boss. And the twists and turns ensue from there. All right, Jaron, let's jump off. What are your thoughts about Kate on Netflix?
I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed. I thought there was a lot of heart, despite the fact that this was kind of a mindless action movie. Like, I like the idea. I like the relationship between Kate and her handler. I like the relationship between and her remorse that surrounded her relationship with the little girl who was, kind of a bitch to her from most of it. And I liked the classic idea of, the honor structure, honor among thieves and all that with the organized crime syndicate. Some of the action was not great. And it is very interesting. I think they did a great job with this radiation poisoning that happened to her, because she looks like shit and it gets worse as the day goes on, to the point where they mention that she can't see out of one eye by the end of this. I mean, she's using a drug to keep her alert, but she's lost sight in one eye. I mean, it's like this chick goes fucking through it and still manages to kill almost everybody in the world. So
every single person in Japan.
Every single person. I think that when you have a place like Tokyo and you're telling a story like this, if the city isn't utilized as almost like a background character, well, then you've done yourself a disservice. And I think that the locations they scouted and the things that they shot and the locations they shot in were all very interesting, and I enjoyed the choices. Even up until the classic old family house in the hills. I thought that was great. This was after watching Shock or whatever or Jolt. This was. I wish that this was like we could have swapped Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think Kate Beckinsale would have been fun in this as well, but because it was a much better story, and I think Kate looked rough through the whole thing, and I don't know how to articulate that better, because I can't really point to one thing. I just when the action was rough in Jolt, I got to look at Kate Beckinsale's face and all was forgiven, and that didn't really happen in this one. So. But there was more. She definitely has a better handle. Mary Winslet has better handle on emotional. Even though her character was kind of stonewally, when she did show some emotional sides, I was there for it and I appreciated it, and I thought she delivered it well. So I guess, yeah. On that very not planned out and off the top of my brain and not well thought out or articulated statement, that I enjoyed it overall, and that is my take. Professional.
Jason,
all right, so
ahead. What your thoughts?
We watched a couple of other action movies that have been led by female actors. Jolt being one of them, and Gunpowder Milkshake being another one.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of those three movies, this is the best one.
Yes.
of the three of them. I really enjoyed this movie too. I thought I will disagree with you, Jaron. I think the fact that Kate Beckinsale is such an attractive woman would have definitely detracted from this movie, because for me, like, this is a really gritty, like, she goes through it, like, and her fight scenes are very, very like visceral, and like you almost believe that she is going to lose in these fights because she's getting her ass handed to her a lot of the time. And it's like kind of like for me, like in John Wick, where he's a super badass, but it's not like he's just taking care of everybody without trouble, like she kind of did in Jolt, right? Like she kind of
I don't mean to cut in. It put me in mind when you say that. It put me in mind of Bob Odenkirk and Nobody.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he
Because
was
Bob
a trained
Odenkirk,
killer.
nobody is a trained killer, but he gets his ass kicked a lot. But he just keeps going.
Yes,
And that's what I liked about this movie. It's like the same thing. She's not always, fighting the best fight, but she just keeps going. And a lot of the stuff in the fight scenes and the fight choreography is cool because she does a lot of blitz attacks. There's a lot of gunplay. There's a lot of using the environment. So it's not like, oh, 125-pound woman beating up on 200-pound men. It's like it's believable in my mind that she's able to carry these things off, and she doesn't always like win. Like when she was fighting the dude's boyfriend, she lost that fucking fight. And if it wasn't for the little girl, she would have been dead. So it was. I really like the fact that like they did this in a more believable way. So
the most
I really
anime live action character I think I've ever seen is that guy.
Yeah. Dude is like an anime villain out of it come to life.
Yeah.
And I was so sad he died because he was like, "You're only on here for like 10 minutes and you're dead." And he's so cool because he was like, "You think you're gonna kill me? Whatever you're gonna do to me, I'm not gonna talk." So, I really liked. I like in movies when the bad guys, even though in movies you should stop trying to kill your hired assassins. I mean, that's always a bad idea for you. But I like kind of how the end where the bad guy's like, I didn't really want this to happen. Like, this is not the plan. I really wanted us to live happily ever after and killing people. I really liked Woody Harrelson's kind of sort of like not really remorse, but just like, this is the way it was going to go. I'm sorry. But I also like the head Yakuza guy. It was like, hey, I wasn't even mad at you. This I didn't do this. You killed my brother, but you're just a tool. I wasn't mad at you at all. Like,
and was willing to take his fate for his failure.
Yeah, and it's like if you want to kill me, that's cool. I'm down for that. Like, you have the right to go ahead and do what you got to do. So I like when you're like there's an understanding between the antagonist and the protagonist. I think those are really cool and things that should be in more movies and stuff like that. But other than that, I thought this was a good movie. It was kind of slow when she was around the little kid. She was kind of not very likable, but still kind of fun. Well, other than that, I enjoyed it. It was cool. Better than Malignant.
Hey, don't ever talk about Malignant like that.
Way better than Malignant.
Oh man, I'm good. I'm glad I'm on opposite sides of the fence to this show. Just shows that maybe because I was working so much this week, maybe I've just been going through a lot. This gave me just more perspective of not wanting to like stuff because I was just tired and maybe grumpy. So with that being said, welcome to this review of Kate. Yes, Kate literally on the undercover tip is literally just like really bait for getting kid assassins. Because that wasn't that the premise of this whole movie? Like, hey, you're about to be out, so we need to make sure
I gotta find that little girl,
so we can get like another one. And now you've created a tragedy that's going to help us get the other kid to be the new you. But since you said you were okay, anyway, let's go on with this movie. Yes, I love the fact that Tokyo Ghoul was playing on the skyscraper when she was making that other hit. I thought that was really dope and fun. So I kind of like was up with Giddy. I was loving this movie, and I was totally in. I'm like you. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The only movie from her that I just don't like is probably the Thing remake or reboot because it's just bad. But she was good at it. It just was bad. But everything else I'm usually always down for. And like Jason said on the thread, Ramona Flowers.
Scott Pilgrim for Life.
Yes. For Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
10 Cloverfield Lane. Phenomenal.
Yeah, got it. So we know she's great. So and her geek fantasy sci-fi cred is extremely high. So that's great. With all that being said, I kind of almost wrestling tapped out once the girl got there. I was out, bro, because it got goofy. Like even the fight scene that was probably the best fight scene in the whole thing when she goes to Homeboy's apartment. And Homeboy is like, all right, if we're going to do this, let's do this. And they're going at it. And then she's like, trying to figure out how to play with this gun. Trying to figure out how to load this gun. Oh, do I cock this? And then I was like, why do I need to see this little girl? I don't give a shit about her. You got this dope action scene going on. And like Jason said, like Jared said, she's using the environment to fight, and yeah, like you could tell she's hobbled, so she's using everything she can to make sure she can win these fights. And you keep giving me these cutscenes of this dumb broad over here trying to figure out how to work a gun. Like, fuck out, like, and I felt like at that moment the tone switched and it became that for the rest of the movie. And that's when I was like, we all right. Like, we know what this is. Whenever you cast Woody Harrelson as a mentor, if he doesn't have a bad wig, he's probably the bad guy. Just gonna throw that out there. If he's not Hey Mitch, he's probably the bad guy. I'm just gonna throw that out there. He's the one behind all this shit. Right.
Zombieland, man. Zombieland.
You don't cast Woody Harrelson. He wears a hat. You don't cast, Stanley Tucci, and let them be the mentors, and they don't end up being the bad guys, because if you did that, you wasted your money, because being a mentor is not a cool-ass job in a cool movie. Just is what it is. So that I kind of saw that coming really early on. I'm like, oh, he's either going to betray her or he's the reason behind this, because it was weird that she's like, hey, we don't do this with kids, and they like keep doing it. Yeah, go ahead and take the hit. So the fact that happened, I was like, oh, it must be something with the organization. They trying to push her out or whatever, yada, yada. Okay, cool, whatever. Again, I was with the movie and I felt the same way you guys felt about it until the girl came in. And I was just like, even the part with the truck, and she's like pointing at him, and she's like, that's supposed to be a cool moment. But when it wasn't cool, because that chick was such a dork. And I'm like, this isn't cool. This kid sucks. I would have ran her over with my car the first shot, and no hit the driver. First I hit the driver. Yeah. I'd have pushed the gas on that joke and ran her ass over. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sorry, and I know
also, it was done. It was done better in the Losers.
You also what a dork.
That's
awesome. Like, that's great.
The girl was a dork. She's anyway. I'm not going to get, because I can go on a whole rant about how terrible she was. But I took the terrible character. If you would have kept the other characters in the vibe of the movie in place, but no, the vibe switched because it got kind of goofy. Like, this just dying from radiation, and we're getting goofy now after you played this so serious. No.
What was it? Palladium 22? I don't know. They said it like 90 times.
Yeah. Like we were supposed to know. You could just say radiation and we would have been fine. We didn't give a fuck. It's probably somebody at home like, hold on, radiation wouldn't do this that quickly. But fuck that person.
Yeah, nuclear fission scientist that's like, oh,
there's
that's
no
a bad
cure.
one.
We can't do anything for you.
And so, and also, this story had a lot of moments where it's like, and I get it, because I don't like to try to do the movies where I'm like, oh, this was dumb about it, and this was dumb about it. Again, I said I like to try to see what the story gives me and point out, well, like, if it stays with the logic or whatever. It was a lot of points in this movie where, like, you were like, hold on, why are they doing this? And then they would just say a line to cover that up. Like, all of a sudden, she's like upset that she killed like this chick's father. And I'm like, bitch, she's probably killed many people's fathers. What are you talking about? And then right after that, she goes, Woody Harrelson goes, oh, now you've grown a conscience? Thank you, writing. All right, she's grown a conscience. Woe is me. I forgot that. That's what she
was upset she killed her father in front of her.
Yeah.
She wasn't upset she killed her father.
Right.
She is upset she killed her father in front of her. That's the line.
Yes, that's what should have been the line. But it was like, no, oh, you grew a conscience now. Okay, all right. Okay, great. Everything else you guys agree with, I agree with. I thought the ability, I mean, at certain points at the end, you could see the veins in her arms and neck from the poison, and they were dark too. So again, it's a lot of great things about this movie, guys. I just thought the tone flipped once they got the girl in, which it kind of has to, because unless you're going to go hit girl with this girl, you got to flip the tone and make it very like almost kiddish, because this chick doesn't understand the violence that she's around or into. So, but I think that was a drawback for me, rather than you guys might have looked at it as, okay, it's a natural evolution of the movie. I felt like you gave me too much dope, serious stuff. So all of a sudden now we fiddling with guns and clips, and I'm good, man. I'm good.
That one buddy cop movie with a cop and the little kid.
Oh yeah, like the joint with Dave Bautista, like I Spy or Spy or something, whatever.
Yeah,
that bullshit. We're going to ratings. Anybody got any final words?
Oh, I also think it'd be cool just to be a kind of guy that can walk into a gunfight with a dude holding a sword, knowing I'm going to use the sword eventually, and he's the only thing that he's there for is to hold the sword,
carry the sword.
I want to be that kind of boss.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's funny. In my notes, I have as a pro, homeboy walked in a gunfight with a sword and was assured that he was going to use that bitch. It's literally in my notes.
Well, and that scene where he's like You're
Would he
not a
get them?
fucking samurai. You can't.
Yep.
This is dumb. And then he still gets his head cut off. I was like,
That
shit.
was
That was
awesome.
But to
all
ratings,
right. Yes, Jason, what is your rating for Kate?
let's give it a 4. Let's give it a 4. A solid
Wow, okay.
4. Yeah. It was fun. I thought it was fun.
All right, Jaron, what is your rating for Kate?
I'm gonna give it a 2.7. It could have been better.
Okay.
Well, it's better than both Jolt and I agree and Gunpowder Milkshake. Let me go ahead and give it a 3 because I think I rated them less than that. So I want to be consistent in my ratings. Yeah, so yeah, I'll give it a 3 as well.
I like it better than Jolt because I hated Jolt. I think I almost barely gave Jolt a 1, and I think I gave like a 1.5. But I didn't like it more than Gunpowder Milkshake. I think Gunpowder Milkshake was just fun and action scenes. I know you guys shit on the bowling alley action scene, but the bowling alley actually was better than anything action scene in this movie, as in just pure being able to see what the fuck is going on. Not to mention the hallway scene when she's fucking numb. Way better shit going on in that movie than what was in this movie. And that movie was supposed to be goofy. This movie, Gunpowder Milkshake was supposed to be goofy. This movie got goofy. So I'm gonna go with 2. And the only reason I'm not gonna give it a 1 because it is the first half of this movie is dope as hell. It's really, really good. And if that first half was as goofy as the rest of it, I probably would give it higher. Or if the rest of the movie was as serious as the first half, I probably would have gave it higher. But like it jarred me with that Shane and playing with the gun and all this, putting up my fingers, whatever.
And that
again,
that's from Japan, so she probably wouldn't know how to use a gun.
Yeah,
because we're in America, we know.
It's true.
Yeah, we're born with them here.
Yeah.
You had a baby.
But
here's your free gun.
That doesn't negate your opinion. I'm just saying. In my mind, I'm like, of course she doesn't know how to use a fucking gun, but she also was born in the fucking Yakuza, so she should know how to use a fucking gun.
Well, not even that. Like we talk about this all the time. It's the way you show things to make sense of things. They showed it as almost a comedy reel with her. Maybe I was the only one that got that feel. It felt like they kept flashing to her like it was a comedy more than her seriously not knowing how to work a gun. Because a lot of people who don't know how to work a gun would say, "Hey, what do I do?" or something like that. But she was like fumbling with the clip, dropping in and had it, and then it slipped out of her hand. Like it was like,
which way does it go?
Right. If you put like a wah, behind it, we'd all started laughing. Like it just. I don't know. That was probably Living Single. I don't
Are these the bullets?
But, right. But that's what I'm saying. Like I thought if it had been different if she would have had the gun and was trying to figure out, like looking at it and like was floating like. Because even if you don't know how to use a gun, she's probably seen enough movies in Japan or somewhere to know a general idea of how to load. Anyway, but yes, that's my only beef with it. But I get it. I mean, we got to have different opinions. This is what the show is about.
She could like dropped all the bullets and like slipped on them. That would be fun.
Yes. I wish she'd have done that.
Dude, that would be a very jarring but acceptable tone change. If she's like, if it's completely slapstick over here while this girl is getting her ass kicked.